here to talk about the ID series Joe Exotic, Tigers, Lies, and Cover-Up. I'd like to welcome homicide investigator Jim Rathmann to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Lori. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, prior to your retirement, apart from your work as a homicide investigator, you were in the Secret Service and you also served in the U.S. Army. Now, what led to the beginning of your career?
Well, I've always had a passion for law enforcement and solving crimes. It's just something that I literally just feel like I was born with it. It was just in my blood. And so when I had the opportunity to, take that on, and I wanted to see how far I could take it in the career and solve everything I can and be as involved as I possibly can.
You must have had some extraordinary experiences. Now, looking back, what was one of the most memorable moments of your career that you'll remember for a lifetime?
Well, there's many that I have, so it's hard to break it down to just one. But I will tell you the one thing that I'm extremely passionate about is bringing closure to families with the most difficult of situations that have happened in their life, whether they lost a loved one or, something's gone on for many years and they didn't have that opportunity to get that closure. And there have been some cases that I saw where there was a lot of difficulty involved with it, but we got to the bottom of it. We got those answers, and I'm able to share with them to provide them at least that comfort of knowing what exactly happened to their loved one. And that way they can get that closure and hopefully be able to move on to the next chapter of their life. That kind of emotional connection is something you just can't find at any other job, in my opinion.
Tricia Griffith has been in contact with so many of the key players involved in the disappearance of Don Lewis.
I'm glad you're taking some time to talk to me about this. This is quite the case.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see anything like this in our lifetimes, in our children's lifetimes.
So you had a chance to talk to some key players recently.
Specifically, I talked to Ann McQueen. And Ann worked for Don for many, many years. She really was one of his trusted, I would say, advisors, trusted people. And in the end, she was the trustee, executor of the wills and the trusts.
Right.
She had the keys to the kingdom. And Ann said a couple of months before he disappeared, Don comes in and he gives her an envelope. It's sealed. He says, I want you to hold on to this. You'll know what to do with it someday if you need to.
Right.
He said, don't open it.
Tiger King, Tigers, Lies, and Cover-Up reveals what happened after Tiger King filming took place. What convinced you to come out of retirement to be a part of the show and investigate this case?
Well, much like the rest of the world, I was captivated by what we saw in early spring when the pandemic took place. And as I watched, when I saw what was going on with Don Lewis, I reside here in Florida. So where this took place is only a little over an hour from where I live. And some of the things that I picked up on, I just knew in my gut that I could actually help out and help provide, whether it be some new leads or get some information and some of that closure for the family. Don Lewis's daughters have been suffering for 23 years of not knowing what happened to their father. So they deserve those answers and they deserve that closure. And I just want to do everything I could to help them.
How did the producers approach you for the show?
Well, I started actually investigating this on my own. I was doing it completely independent. Just ended up uncovering some great information. Some of that information you're going to see in the show. One of the big interviews I did with Trish Farr, which was Kenny Farr, Don's handyman. It was Kenny Farr's ex-wife, but it was his actual wife at the time in 1997. And she revealed some very interesting information, everything that goes on with property transfers as well, just a month after Don disappeared. So once I was able to uncover some of this information, it just worked out. We were able to meet, and I was already investigating it, and I was already on it, and just was perfect when they, approached me to be able to continue on.
What was it like to work on this case while being filmed for TV?
Well, it was definitely interesting. I'm not used to working cases and having a camera crew follow you around, but I will tell you, everybody from Investigation Discovery, Conveyor Media, all those that were involved in this entire case and the filming have just been complete professionals all the way through and allow me to do what I need to do on an investigation. So that part of it was great. And it also takes a lot of cooperation from those that want to come forward. I mean, it's been 23 years since Don's been missing, and some people are no longer afraid to come forward and speak, and that's great. And that's really great when it comes to solving a case, especially one that's 23 years old.
Tiger King became popular during a time when many people had a lot of time to form their own opinion. Now, What are your thoughts on the memes, posts, and popular opinions of Carole Baskin?
Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there. And then as you go through the investigation, you let the facts take you wherever it's going to take you in a case such as this. Some of the theories that are out there can be completely disproven very quickly. And then there are some that make some sense. What's great about the show is that we're going to reveal a lot of this information with factual documents so people can at home can actually be the judge for themselves and say, hey, look, was this person involved or were they not involved? And really leave it up to them. But we're going to provide that information and provide those facts. So it should be very interesting.
The special also includes exclusive prison interviews with Joe Exotic himself. Was it difficult to arrange that?
Well, a lot of the communication that goes on with Joe is really done through email. That's how we do just about the daily interaction, which is great. Joe's been very cooperative, been very outspoken to the fact that he did not do this murder for hire plot. And so anytime we need him to, we have questions for him, or I have something for him, I email him and he emails me back just a few hours later. He's been very cooperative with everything. And, I'm going to tell you, we found a lot of new information that his legal team, known as Team Tiger, is working around the clock right now to try to get him a new trial or even, through the appeals process.
Was his personality the same as what we see on Tiger King?
Well, Joe is who he is. He's not afraid to hide it, and yeah, he's lived a wild life. I mean, that's just the best way to sum it up. But he's still very adamant that he did not do this murder for hire, and so we're trying to work to prove that for him and to get him a new trial or get him out of prison altogether.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
That was Jim Rathmann, homicide investigator from Joe Exotic, Tigers, Lies, and Cover-Up on Investigation Discovery. You take care, Jim.
Thank you. You do the same.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.